Hey guys, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. Mike, as soon as we get started here, I got to hit you off with this hypothetical because I've seen this floating all over the internet lately. It's been popping up left and right.
Okay.
It's got everybody kind of weighing in, and I want to hear what you guys think about this one. So they say, if you make a hole-in-one on a mulligan or breakfast ball, whatever you want to call it, does it still count as a hole-in-one? And we polled you guys on our community tab, and I'm going to tell you right now, 70% of you say it does not count as a hole-in-one.
Yeah.
But 30 are saying
There's
it is.
a brave 30 out there,
It's
huh?
a brave 30. What's your thoughts here?
I'm with the 70. I mean, I think that a hole-in-one should be done on the first shot. I think a mulligan is not. I mean, we all kind of give each other that breakfast ball on the first tee. It's like a mutual agreement amongst, your buddies. Like, hey, it's first. No one got enough time to go to the range. Just take another one, and everyone's in agreement. I think in that situation, if you get it, no way. I think it's just a par at that point.
Yeah, because
in your head.
And I'm thinking about it too. You didn't want it.
No, you don't want it.
I don't want it. Because,
I don't want to tell that story.
Yeah, because you know what's going to happen is it's always going to go like this. People are going to ask you, oh, you play golf? You're at a party. They'll be like, ever have a hole-in-one? And you got to always start it off with,
sort of.
Well.
Yeah, it's sort of.
It's like a big well, and then they automatically.
Immensely, it's like,
yeah, there's an asterisk on it. So I personally, not only do I say no, it doesn't count as a hole-in-one. It counts as a great shot. It's a great shot. You put that ball in the hole, it's a great shot, but it's not a hole-in-one because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a hole-in-one is something that's reserved. It's got its own special weight that it carries to it. We had one comment here on the poll. Brian says, I give the man a kind pat on the back and tell him that's the best par I've ever seen. And I think that pretty much explains it. I mean, look, you and I, we've done it before. We just saw Rick Shields do it too on his channel, who we had recently on the podcast. We had Rick. He did a challenge. I think he took like 100 shots at a hole-in-one. You and I did it. We split it. We did 50 shots each.
Yeah, not easy.
We didn't end up getting one. But I was thinking, if we hold shot number 47, what are we going to do? Walk around saying we had a hole-in-one?
I would never even say it was a hole-in-one. I think you're absolutely right. I think you nailed it. I think you got it. Even if you're all in agreement that it's a breakfast ball, you're still writing a 3 on that card. I am. I cannot write a 1 on a scorecard if I'm mulligan hole-in-one. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't. I won't.
You got to take your par.
You will get your George Costanzas out there who will run with the lie forever. And when asked, did you ever get a hole-in-one? They'll be like, "Yup,
yeah,
yep." First hole, whatever, got it, nailed it, and they're gonna live with that forever. But
I love he labels them a George Costanza.
It's not a lie. Remember that it's not a lie unless you believe it.
Right, if you believe it. If you believe it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Well, what do you guys think? We still want to hear from you guys. You heard our opinion. We still want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments if you get a hole-in-one on that mulligan, on that breakfast ball, whatever you want to call it. Are you counting it? You count it as a hole-in-one? Yes or no? And like I said, let the comments fly because everybody seems to have an opinion on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I were still looking out for our first. Hasn't happened yet.
We've had so many opportunities, so many. I can count over like a dozen between you and I just filming the last 5 years, all the par 3s.
We've given it a few scares. But
we have.
It has not happened yet. It has not happened yet.
I have a disc golf hole-in-one.
Zach has a disc golf hole-in-one.
Is that
doesn't count
even somewhat as rare as golf? Like what's the occurrence of hole-in-ones?
I mean, I've been playing for 8 years, and it took me until like 4 months ago to get my first ace.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've played with people that have played for 10, 15 years and have never gotten them. I've played with people that have gotten 6.
And how far is the throw for something?
It really depends. On my throw, is about 200 feet, 150 feet, 200 feet, and then disc golf holes are between about 150 feet to about 500, 600 feet.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay.
They're not that long.
They're not that long.
Zach's slow
like
but
50
steady
yards.
effort to turn this into a disc golf podcast. We see you.
The disc golf is
We dig. We got you.
All right.
Anyway, let's move on. One thing I want to talk about is Max Homa obviously winning. It was a wild week. We had some crazy bad weather, and then Sunday it cleared up, and then Sunday again more exciting golf. I mean, as fans, you got to love this week in and week out. We had Keegan Bradley, coming down the stretch.
Yep.
We've seen a resurgence with. Early in the week, we saw some great stuff from Jason Day. I'll be honest with you. I was rooting hard for him. I'm a big Jay Day fan, and it would have been something to see him win on Mother's Day after losing his mother just a month or two ago. But crazy good golf. We even saw Rory in the mix.
He was in the hunt.
Third. You know, he just had a little bit too much wood to cut to try to come all the way back. But ends up, Max takes it home, and it's now his second win on the PGA Tour this season.
Which is great. It sets him up for a lot. I mean, East Lake's a lock, probably. President's Cup's definitely a lock for Homa.
Yeah.
Love the tweet he threw out there last night. He's always good for a tweet after a tournament. He said something along the lines of, my soon-to-be born son is going to have a hell of a job topping that Mother's Day. Good luck, kid. Thanks for the support, everyone. And he's great. He's one of my top 5 guys on tour. I've been rooting hard for him. Not because he's a FootJoy Titleist guy. You know, he does look sharp out there. I like the outfits he rocks.
I saw Sunday he was wearing that shirt you were wearing the other day.
Yep. So, you know, he's got the fit, but you know, he's got the personality that I fell in love with instantly when that guy came on Twitter, and I'm just a fan. I've been rooting for this guy for a while. Glad to see he got the win.
Yeah, for sure. And his game is just, it's on point. And I like what he said in one of the interviews he did afterwards, where he just said he really feels that the confidence is coming on, and he's feeling like he deserves to be there.
Yeah,
you know. But the other guy, you know, I just saw an interview this week. Actually, it just popped up, you know, on social this week. I didn't get to dig into when exactly it was, but the other guy I root hard for is Matthew Wolff. And I don't know if you saw this interview, but he just in so quickly summed up everything I feel about this game, and it was so relatable to me. It just made me want you lock in on somebody and be like, you're a fan, like an instant fan.
Yeah.
He was just talking about how the perspective of realizing just how fortunate and blessed he was to be out there playing golf, doing what he does for a living, just playing with a smile on his face, no matter the outcome.
That's it.
I was just like, yeah. I mean, I'm all for. I love that pure competitor like you get with Tiger, who just doesn't matter what. He could be playing you in, air hockey.
Right.
He's going to play you to death and want to win. I get that too. I mean, that's awesome side of the competitiveness of the sport. But then there's also that side of just being like, we're out here enjoying it, having fun, and just feeling how fortunate we are to be doing what we do. And I think Matthew Wolff just summed that up instantly in one interview. And I was like, that's it. That's my guy.
I mean, that's essentially the Golficity tagline.
Yeah.
For the past 10 years, we've been out there. We're firing 98s on our worst day. We're firing 95s at Brookline or whatever it is in tough U.S. Open conditions. But yet when we get in the car, I'm just beaming the whole 4-hour ride home that I just got to step foot and play that course.
Our goal isn't always to win, but it is always to have the most fun.
That's it, man. And that was one of the most fun days. I keep thinking about that U.S. Open Media Day. And there's so many more cool things we got on the calendar coming up. So I know it's just fun after fun after fun coming, and that's what this game's all about. I'd love to see him say that. He's a good dude.
Yeah, it was really, really good to see. And another thing, talking about entertaining. So this guy, Brandon Matthews, did you see this? I mean, he's coming up from the Corn Ferry Tour, and talk about power, pure power. Of some of the best quotes, he had to take his driver out of the bag because he said it was too nuclear. So here's a guy he's 6 foot, I think 4, right? Big dude. They said that his fairway finder, his nice controlled easy drive went 333, but they said that he's just no problem hitting 135 on the swing speed, club head speed,
no problem,
with his driver, which is just incredible. I mean, Bryson DeChambeau averaged 133 miles per hour. Here's a guy who's doing 135, so he's even upping the longest hitter on tour right now. Unfortunately, he's on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's one of those guys who's walking that line and bouncing back and forth. Unfortunately, it didn't translate this week. I think he shot 70, 77 and missed the cut at the Wells Fargo. But just electric seeing a guy who can hit the ball that far. I mean, you're talking about with 135 club head speed, you're talking about 340, 350 carry, just regular, regular, just carry. Forget the rollout.
It's insane. And one of the articles on golficity.com, we talked about this. There's even a Twitter photo of his stock yardages. His 3-wood stock yardage is 293. Stock, 263 iron, 246 4-iron. I mean, it's wild.
But it makes sense. If you're hitting the ball 293 with your 3-wood, you could take your driver out.
You could. Put it
add an extra wedge or whatever is needed out there.
But
just incredible.
Add 2 putters.
Is it worth it hitting it that far if you're not going to make cuts? I know
I mean,
like
if you
previous
it.
to this event, like he only got in due to a sponsor exemption. I can't say only got in, but I think he missed like 3 or 4 cuts before this event. So it's like,
you think like hitting too far is hurting him?
Well, I don't know. I'm just wondering. Like,
I think it's more so just the need to develop other parts of his game still. Like at the end of the day, what's been proven time and time again is that you can't raw overpower the tour. You just can't do it. We saw even with Bryson trying to do it in certain spots. We saw it like with Augusta, right? Bryson thinking he come up with a game plan to just overpower the place. And Bryson arguably is all around excellent. You know what I mean? Wedges, putting, when he's on, he's on. Mm-hmm. But it's just proof that there's nobody who's going to go out there and just be like the guy who overpowers it. You have to develop those other areas of your game. And don't get me wrong. He's no slouch, Brandon Matthews. You know what I mean? No. Just to play at the level he's playing at. But what I'm saying is with that time and experience, he's coming up from the Corn Ferry. I'm sure he'll get more chances on the PGA Tour. It's just great. He's got the long ball, just developing those other areas and making sure that he can.
That's so true. Case in point was when we took our forward tees challenge. We said it like how many times out there we're like, these tees could be moved up so much, but hey, we still have to chip and putt. Yeah. These guys have to chip and putt. Bubba said it when he was on the show. Remember? Yeah. We asked him point blank about what do you think about Bryson hitting the ball far? He goes, I don't care. Let him hit it 400 yards out of bounds.
Exactly.
And he still has to chip and putt.
I'm looking at just briefly glancing through Brandon Matthews' stats here. And one thing, his putting average, 120th. So you could tell, like, that's the low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. But you take a guy like this who's already got the power, one of the hardest things to teach, arguably. You could take a guy with, like, just some finesse short game. It doesn't mean that you can put all that power into him. Right. You can teach little things, whatever, but you get with the right coach, they can work on him with putting and the short game and whatever else it may be. You never know. He could be a danger out there.
Brandon Matthews, you know what he'd be great for? He'd be great to bring to like a charity scramble.
Yeah, of course.
Those guys are the best for that. Because then you get like 4 cracks after his like 360-yard drive.
Yeah, like I'm going to put one in the fairway. You just bomb it.
Right.
Yeah. That's always the guy you want carrying the team. That's for sure. That's your anchor.
Yep.
So hey, we'll sign up for some scrambles this year, and we'll see if he's available.
There you go. Perfect.
I doubt it. All right, let's do a quick word from our sponsors. Then we're going to come back. I want to talk about some crazy stuff that we've got in the news, especially with this LIV. It just keeps as we're getting closer and closer to the intro.
I think it's going to be big.
I think we're starting to wind up. There's a lot of stuff happening, including a little surprise hot mic from Sergio Garcia. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's do a quick word from our sponsors. All right, we all have different ability levels and goals, but the one thing we share is a desire to bring our best every time we tee it up. And it all starts with choosing a golf ball that you can trust. The Pro V1 is the best combination of speed, spin, and feel in the game. And the Pro V1 X gives you a higher flight and a firmer feel, but both deliver longer distance, consistent flight, soft feel, and the all-important drop and stop greenside control. So whether you're Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, or Nelly Korda competing at the game's highest level, or simply striving to be the best you can be, tee up that Pro V1 or Pro V1 X and always bring your best.
And guys, bring some heat to your game with the all-new Fuel from FootJoy. Man, I am going to rock those today on the course. We're playing after
the Fuel,
this.
Yeah.
You know, what'd I say? The Fuel. Oh, sorry. I thought you were correcting me. But guys,
no, I said, yeah, I agree. I've been wearing them every
They're your
time
favorite shoe.
Yeah.
I know. Frank wears them all the time, and they are, I mean, for a great reason. They're stylish. They deliver, superior comfort. They're packed. I mean,
light,
packed with
very
golf
light
innovation. Yeah, I mean, light is great, especially when you're walking a lot. For men, women, juniors, the vibrant colors that they come in, super cool. Incredible comfort, terrific traction. I mean, that's key, when you're swinging through the ball. And that athletic look and feel. It almost looks like you're wearing a sneaker out there.
Yeah.
Really cool. FootJoy Fuel appeals to all players of all levels of the game. Whether you're walking, whether you're playing 36, you're in a cart, country club, muni, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The FootJoy Fuel has been engineered to bring some serious heat to your golf game. You can learn more about the FJ Fuel at footjoy.com.
All right, so the other day we saw Sergio Garcia. Right. Nowadays, these guys, I mean, I know passion and this stuff, it spills over sometimes. They're not thinking through every moment. But the reality is now, the way we've got TV coverage, like we've never had before, everything you say, you got to be ready for it to be caught on camera.
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew. He knew those cameras were there. Go ahead.
I think so. Because you know what? He's always been one to not hold back. He's very fiery in that way. But anyway, he got in an altercation with a rules official out there. And he said, I I can't wait to leave this tour. That was part of the quote, but it was very indicating like that he's going to be one of the guys who's going to be making the announcement and making the jump over to the LIV, the Saudi tour, as a lot of us have been calling it.
Perfect candidate for it, by the way.
I agree.
You know, hasn't done much since the Masters win, which was a gazillion years ago. Now we think about it, I think we're like four or five champions removed from Sergio.
Yeah.
And he hasn't made a lot of noise. He's a family man. He's getting older. He's got, whatever. He's like a Lee Westwood. He's in that phase where like maybe he's winding down. And hey, there's a huge carrot being dangled in front of him. Right. And he can go have some fun. And according to him, the courses might be set up a little bit better than, whatever he said out there. It's perfect for him. And I think he's going. And that line that he did say that the hot take was a few more weeks to go or something? Yeah. Which totally indicates.
Lines up with the timeline.
I only have to deal with you guys for another few weeks.
Yeah, which is right in line with the early June.
And don't get me wrong. There's some of these guys who have their grievances with the PGA Tour and certain things they've done. But the problem is every one of these guys who speaks up like that, the backlash that they get from the fans is that, and I see this in the comments all the time, is that you're biting the hand that feeds you. Like the PGA Tour has, basically that's been your career. It supported you. You've made millions of dollars. Okay, you may have a couple of grievances, things you're upset with, but, airing those grievances in this manner is something that's not always a good look. But do you think this is what the LIV is going to be? Is it just going to be kind of like a victory lap for the older guys who are moving on anyway?
And the younger guys who aren't going to make it.
You think the guys who aren't going to make it, who aren't going to be able to hack it on tour, are going to move over?
Right,
there?
The guys who might have their card, but like they're just not. They're not making cuts. They're not making bucks. They're not paying their bills.
Right.
And I don't want to say like the Hunter Mahans. I'm saying the more of the guys current, like the Brandon Hagees. I don't know, these names we see week in and week out that just aren't making cuts. That's what I think.
I also think personally that a lot of these young names, if they decide to go to this LIV tour, they can almost build their name off of the backs of these just legendary players.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I was a young player, I would love to go there and school Lee Westwood and Sergio and Phil. Like, obviously easier said than done, but like that's the easiest way to make a name. Like this guy just destroyed Phil Mickelson through,
Yeah, I totally get it. Don't forget that it's a huge gamble. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, even the backlash that came to Greg Norman recently, and we'll get into that. It just kind of shows you that the PGA Tour doesn't seem like they're bluffing when they're saying, like, if you go over to this LIV tour, you're going to be nixed and without your chances. So some of these guys, I think they're going to have to make that career gamble and saying, like, look, if they feel like truly they can't hack it on the PGA Tour and they want to be able to play over there. But for the rest of the guys, I don't know. It seems like it's whittling down to like the biggest draw is just going to be this huge, the payouts. I mean, we had this other one. I'm just gonna dive into this now. Like some of these, we talked about like the final. It was going to be like a $50 million purse. Some of these are just incredible. Let's see. I'm trying to find like some of the purses that they were talking about.
$50 million.
$50 million.
That's incredible.
And they're talking about huge appearance fees.
I know Phil's got.
Hey, I'm not sure about those huge appearance fees.
You don't think so?
I've heard, like, in the news this past week, a lot of players have been giving them back since Phil's comments.
That's true, too. I mean...
But I don't think Phil gave... What was Phil's, 30 mil?
I'm not sure where Phil's was, but...
It was reportedly that he was getting 30 million here.
Well, see, this is the biggest indicator of the health of this tour, if you ask me. So it said several top 50 players decommitted after Phil's comments. And those are the guys who gave back the money that they had gotten as far as to
how much
join the
came
tour.
in. Was they just checking the mail? Like they just went to the mailbox one day, opened it up, and saw a lot of zeros?
I'm sure what it was with their agents. There was a deal that was created that you were going to play X amount of events on this tour.
So it was agreed upon, you think? You don't think they surprised them like, we want, it's like a college acceptance letter. Congratulations.
No, they weren't just sending checks out left and right. I think what happened was there were initial talks and negotiations. I think earlier on, before Phil's comments, the tour had a look that wasn't as frowned upon as it is now. I think when Phil went that direction and said what he said, a huge black cloud came over the tour. It shined a light on something that some people were thinking and was not really said. And then a lot of people just like, whoa, I don't want my name associated with this. And they just backed out. I'm sure they had exit clauses in their contracts or whatever.
They ran scared. I don't want to be the next Phil. I don't want to lose sponsors.
Right. Or they're just like, they just don't want to, you know, hitch their wagon to that horse. You know, it's just, but it makes me wonder, a lot of these top 50 players, like guys who could have maybe bounced back and forth and played a little bit of events on both tours. Now, what are you going to be left with? Are you going to be left with guys like Phil, Sergio, Westwood, who are well along in their career, kind of taking like almost an exhibition victory lap, and then a bunch of young guys who don't feel like that they're going to be able to win on the PGA Tour and are going to come over, and that's going to be your field?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd rather go there than the Champions Tour.
But then for us as fans, is it, other than, you know, the wow factor of seeing these guys play for these huge purses, is it that exciting to see that a field made up of that caliber? I mean, I still like I'd still love to watch Phil play.
Right,
still,
of course,
you know,
and
no
a lot of
matter
people
what.
are.
He's a great golfer, entertaining guy, but still, I mean, if that was up against the week on a PGA Tour event, which one are you watching on Sunday?
I'm flipping between both. I love golf.
Maybe that's what they're banking on.
I think people watch. I mean, I'm the type of guy. I know there's a lot of people out there who you wake up on a Saturday morning and you find some quiet time on TV. I usually go right to Golf Channel. I don't care if it's girls' college. I don't care if it's you
Dubai.
watch
any golf, right?
Any golf that's on, I'll watch. But if you have something that's like prime time now, this LIV, this excitement, this hype, Norman fights, money, it's got hype behind it now. Like I'm almost excited for it now.
Yeah,
the hype is building.
I also just wonder, I mean, I understand where the money's coming from. It's a lot of money, you know what I mean? But on the same token, you got to think about sustainability. If this many players decommitted and don't want their name attached to it, how many sponsors do you think did the same?
That's true, too.
And then you got to think, like, what's the sustainability of this tour? Are they just going to live on the Saudi-backed money? And even for them, it's still an investment, but it's still an investment for them. Mm-hmm. They won't want to lose money.
Yeah, they don't want to just throw their money away.
To a certain extent that they're investing, so they might say like, "Look, I'm just going to throw money at."
Yeah, I just don't really understand where the golf fans like. I feel like every other major sport in the world has gone to Saudi Arabia, and like, yeah, there's been stinks about like the sport going there, but I feel like golf is like the only sport that is actually like, this is not okay. Like every other sport, F1, the WWE, like literally, like obviously the WWE is not like the greatest example, but it's massive.
It is massive.
Well, even within golf, we've had this for a while. We've had a couple of Saudi events where guys are getting huge appearance fees to go play.
They just go play.
Dustin Johnson. I think that it was just wrong time, wrong moment, wrong words that Phil used. And I think what happened with that is it just became too much of a stigma for guys to attach to right now. And that, like, these guys are not going to risk with their careers, especially you're talking top 50, right? Those are all the guys who they're pretty young. They're in the middle of their careers for the most part. They're like, great, it's just not worth the risk. So who knows? Maybe the media circus around it will kind of calm down and they'll kind of level back out.
That's what I think it really is. I think it's the media that really kind of blew it out of the water a little bit, like the whole Saudi.
There's no doubt that they latched onto it. I mean, look, it's still continuing. Look at this article, this week about Phil's gambling debt. Do you see this?
40 million.
Yeah,
over how long?
This is all coming out of that book that Alan Shipnuck put together, which just hit pre-sale, right? And then he says part of it in the book, they said that Phil's total gambling losses totaled $40 million from 2010 to 2014. So in 5 years, Phil lost $40 million gambling. Now, that seems like a really shocking number, but it doesn't sound like it's the whole story. Maybe that's a thing to get you to buy the book because maybe more is in there. But what if his winnings were $60 million?
Yeah, I don't. Yes, I get.
I don't know. We know Phil gambles, but I don't know what he gambles on.
I think they did the math. Like Phil's
his
how
you're saying that's the net.
No, I think he didn't make that much like in competition during those years. I don't know. Like I read it somewhere that like he was in the red.
It's possible
due to those gambling.
It's possible if he went a 4-year stretch of just not making any money.
Yeah,
because
don't
of the
quote
gambling.
Me.
Not to mention 08, 09 were incredibly terrible times financially. It's like when the whole housing market crashed. Yeah. So you had them coming out of that. Then he loses $40 million over the next 4 years and doesn't really win that much on tour. What was he thinking?
But that being said, up until now, I don't think Phil would be hurting anyway because he was still a sponsor's darling.
Oh, so many sponsors.
Right?
He's making millions a year on that.
Think about how much he's making from
probably making close to 40 million on sponsors. I would imagine
from the group of sponsors that he had, but I just don't know. I want to see more of this unfold because right now all of it is coming. Now, granted, Alan Shipnuck is now, new green reporter. He's been doing this for a long time, but it is still all coming just from that main source.
I don't know how. Yeah, but I don't know how this guy hasn't gotten sued by Phil.
Well,
for like defamation or whatever.
Well, who knows? Only Phil would know how much of it's true. And if it is true, maybe he can't sue him. But quotes like this in Alan Shipnuck's, he said about him. He said about Phil. He said he spent his career charming, cajoling, manipulating, and bullying reporters. Now it's interesting to me because to me we've only seen Phil as the charming guy, and we've always seen it as from a fan side, not being that close to him, seen it as it looks genuine to me.
Yeah,
I never thought it looked like
we don't know Phil behind closed
putting
doors.
On. Who knows what Alan's own experience with him is? I don't know. I just hope that that we don't end up seeing that this is all true, a very dark side of Phil, because he's a guy you want to like. But
just think about the bets to lose that much money. Well, he must have been doing like $500,000 nights.
What do you think he's gambling on too? You think he's just in there watching?
I heard.
Sweet 16?
I saw a buddy the other night, and we were talking about this. He said, first of all, if it's 40 million, it's probably more. But also, he said he would bet on every single college football game. You name it, college football Saturdays. You know how many games run all day?
Yeah.
You're betting 25,000, 100,000 bowl games.
How much money on a hole do you think? Like he goes out and plays golf with his buddy, 25 grand a hole. Like,
but it might be he might spend 20 grand in a day gambling. Just in a day, not flinch, which is crazy.
Is that just because you have that much money? You just need that hit of adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an addiction. I get it.
So, and you keep losing. You feel that the big win is around the corner, and sometimes it's not. And you just keep sinking and sinking.
Jeez.
But Phil could just take on a sponsorship, right? Can't Phil just say like, "Hey, I'll do a spot for $1 million whenever he wants somewhere. Someone will pay him."
I think in what I'm saying in the past he could. I don't know if he can do that.
That's the question. Can he do it now?
Because of where he stands right now, I think Phil will still have some sort of comeback in
give it 6 months.
Yeah,
I guarantee give it 6 months and Phil's going to be a darling again.
I read so many of the comments that I just see out there and just testing that as a litmus test. Phil is just still so loved. There's so many people who are ready to just move on from this that I think that unless something bigger or darker comes out, like with this quote, if there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, but otherwise, I think we move on. Phil starts to pick up sponsors again, and I 100% think.
I almost think that
a month ago. Sorry, Zach. Month ago, just his estimate. I don't know how much he's net worth things, but Golf Monthly said $400 million.
So they estimate his net worth at $400 million.
Properties, maybe. Yeah, his tangibles, all the stuff that he has. And I don't know.
I could definitely see it. A guy who's as big a name as he has for as long as he has, and I think once he kind of, if he clears his name a little bit, that value comes up again because his brand value, his name brand will come back up.
I honestly think, like, given these days, like sports gambling has become so popular and people just love gambling and everything that has to do with gambling, I think this might be like a positive for Phil. I think he might be able to like turn it into like I do this. Yeah. So what? Everybody else is doing it these days. Like,
right.
I don't know.
And I don't
that's
think
just my thinking.
The gambling itself, I don't think is something that's contained to him. I mean, because we know there's other guys who are big gamblers. Isn't like Michael Jordan a big gambler?
Oh yeah.
Some of these guys like that. That's no problem. And I don't think anyone's going to hate him for that. At the end of the day, it's his money. Let him do what he wants with it.
Right.
It's the other stuff, like I said, him being able to make up those losses with his ability to earn again. But anyway,
if I'm DraftKings, I'm going to Phil right now with a bag, being like, yeah, just spend that $40 million through us.
Yeah.
Right. Well, listen, one more thing I want to mention this before we move on, because there's something I want to talk about here and talk about Tiger Woods in general. A lot of people out there saying he's getting favorable treatment from the PGA. So I want to hear what you guys think about that in the comments. But one last thing I'll say here is that proof of this, the PGA Tour and the RNA and the USGA being very seriously against this LIV Tour is Greg Norman getting disinvited basically from the Open Championship. He was denied entry into the 150th British Open.
Could he have played it if he wasn't denied? Like, is he eligible?
I think he would have still needed to.
I mean, I know you're an open winner, but you probably still.
I don't even think they let Faldo in it. So I don't know why he's making such a.
I thought the Open was like the Masters, that it was a lifetime exemption, but doesn't mean he was going to play, because he hasn't played, right? I haven't seen him play.
I haven't seen him play.
So I think it's just more so like more of anything. It's just like kind of one of those for show kind of tactics of saying like, hey, by the way, you're not welcome.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it shows the how serious these other tours are about. If your association with that, we don't want you.
Yeah, true.
Which tells these other guys who, like I said, who decommitted, they're like, good thing I did, because it's getting hot over there.
But I also think this could be Norman playing the victim card, being like, oh, all these people are against me, like, because I definitely heard or read somewhere that Faldo, who I think has won the Open even at St. Andrews, I don't know, but that's what I remember reading, but he's not competing in it because I think he would have had to qualify or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But something along those lines is what I remember hearing.
Someone should just do a YouTube golf tour.
All right, so listen to this. There could be more to it, too, because as far as I'm getting out of it a little bit, it was that he applied for a special exemption to play. And the Open Championship permits past champions to play until the age of 60, and an additional 5 years can be added for a former champion that places in the top 10. Yeah. So basically that means like 56. He's 67 years old. So he's a little bit past that point. So they could go kind of either way.
And I think,
but he was applying for a special exemption to play. I wonder if that was a media play on his regard.
I think
knowing
so.
He was going to get turned down.
I think so. Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. He could have just said, "I'm going to do that just to because right now." I guess all press is good press for Norman and his league right now. Just be in the conversation.
That's it.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job.
Yeah. All right, let's do another word from our sponsors. Then I want to talk about this idea of Tiger if he gets preferential treatment from the PGA, because that's another hot topic right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, big thanks to Precision Pro. Guys, you've seen us out on the course using their R1 Smart Rangefinder. Loving the rangefinder. Love how it works. Love all the features that come with it. But we can't talk, more about how great the app is that comes with it. The Precision Pro app, things like MySlope and Wind Assist, the GPS distances. We use them a lot for those aerial maps, especially courses we've never seen before, to get those blind spots. But I think Find My is my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't harp on how important it is when you spend $300 or so on a device of that power. You don't want to lose it, and sometimes we leave it behind. Now, it does have a really awesome magnetic strip on it, which just goes on the side of the cart. You could pick it up with your golf club. It's right there on the floor. But we're not always thinking out there, right? So we have left them on the cart. I know you've left one on a cart. I've left one on a cart. We're forgetful out there with 1,000 cameras. We can't always remember it, and we instantly know right away. Oh, boom, we hit a button, find out where the rangefinder is. You could just go and grab it. I think I had to drive back on the last hole. It was sitting right in the tee box. Super cool feature. And it's just one of the many that the R1 has. And don't forget, it's a pretty wildly great rangefinder. And with a touch of a button, you get GPS or you can switch to laser. So super cool. Check it out. Use Golficity at checkout. They're going to throw you $20 off. It's great. Great little discount there. Go to precisionpro.com and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, I also want to talk about Rapsodo, too, the mobile launch monitor. It's been something that's continuing to impress us. We've been doing a lot of tests with it on our own. We've been using it more and more, even having a little fun out there. Mike and I doing some longest drive in a couple different holes. It's nice to be able to just bring this mobile launch monitor out and just hit it and just get numbers.
Fun. Yeah,
and that's really the word I want to harp on in there is mobile, because it is just so mobile. You can bring it to the range with you, and it gives you all those metrics that really help from a game improvement standpoint, knowing things like distance, ball speed, club speed, launch angle, just to name a few. And it gives you that data visualization. So you get so much more out of your range session. Plus, they've got this shot tracer feature. So you'll physically see not only just your numbers, your launch data, but you can see yourself on screen. You get to see that tracer. You get to see the shot shape. And all of that is stored right there in the app. Plus, they got the new shot dispersion feature, which has a visual overlay of every shot that you hit on the range. It's color coded. It's very similar to what we see when we go for a high caliber fitting or a lesson. And you get to see each one of your clubs overlaid with dispersion. And it really helps you know not only like your gapping, dialing in those wedges. I mean, this is stuff you can do on your own at the range with this simple device. But also, kind of looking, where's my strengths? Where's my weaknesses? Like, oh, wow, my dispersion at this distance is way too high. That's what I have to go out in the range and work on. And you pick them off and you got to get better little by little. So go and check it out. It's a Rapsodo mobile launch monitor. Make sure, by the way, you use our coupon code Golficity MLM. It's all lowercase, one word, Golficity MLM. And incredibly, you'll get $100 off. It brings it down to $399, which is an absolute no-brainer for such a high caliber launch monitor.
Yeah, that's not going to last too long.
And we know it's accurate because we've done a lot of very good testing. We tested it against a $20,000 GC quad.
Yep.
And it was spot on.
Yeah, it was pretty darn good.
We did a whole video on that. You can check it out on the main channel. But really excited about this thing, guys. If you haven't checked out Rapsodo yet, now's the time to do it. All right, so the question became, is Tiger getting preferential treatment? And again, I told you, I love to read the comments. A lot of people, they're diving there. It's very polarizing. Some people are saying Tiger's been receiving preferential treatment from the PGA. And, you could say, what's the motivation there? The motivation is when Tiger's playing and Tiger's winning, broadcast ratings are way up. But the question we have is, do you believe that Tiger Woods receives preferential treatment from the PGA? And citing that was this week, Twitter account, Use Golf Facts, which kind of widely known to be a burner account, or at least speculated to be a Patrick Reed or Patrick Reed's wife's burner account,
right.
Said, I wonder what it's like to have the director of golf at Southern Hills give you all the course notes you need for the upcoming PGA Championship. Do all players get this treatment at PGA? For Tiger Woods, this is just embarrassing that the PGA posted this photo, and it's very telling. And it's a photo of Tiger out there, during a practice round, and which, by the way, they said within hours of his practice round, there were news media helicopters in the air covering it, which just tells you everyone, Tiger, at the end of the day, there's a certain degree of, even if there was preferential treatment, there's a certain degree that it's earned because everyone wants to see Tiger.
Right.
He's the track record he's had has given him some things that other players just don't have. However, the question still comes down to, was this crossing a line? By having, the director of golf go out there and walk with Tiger and help him with the course, is that crossing a line? You guys let us know what you think in the comments. I'm going to tell you my opinion. I don't think so. I think a lot of people like to whine and complain about why Tiger's beating them. I would rather first, before you complain about that, first tell me that you played a practice round there and asked to have the director of golf come out and he said no.
Right, first and foremost.
Then we'll argue about preferential treatment.
Right.
But if you didn't choose, don't forget, Tiger not only is he's the greatest in a lot of ways he's played, he's also one of the smartest. He knows that course knowledge trumps everything else.
Big time, yep.
So Tiger, the competitor that he is, it wouldn't put it past me. It's not like the PGA. I doubt the PGA invited him out and be like, hey, Tiger, come out. We want to show you all our secrets. No, right. I think Tiger set it up. He right now, his focus is on majors. He can only play so many events. He probably got in contact, however it is, with them, said, I want to play. He probably invited the director of golf out there and asked to pick his brain.
Yep.
Which I don't think is in any way cheating.
It's brilliant.
I think if anything, it's a smart move. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see, were other players asking the same and being denied, and Tiger was the only one given that opportunity, then we can make the argument that maybe there's some preferential treatment. I haven't personally heard that. If I'm missing something, you guys let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I heard, or I read a comment where somebody was said exactly what you said, Frank.
Yeah.
That I've been a pro for a long time, and if any athlete on the PGA Tour were playing at my course, I would be more than happy to help them. And most pros would be more than happy to help anybody coming to play at their course. I don't know.
And what's honestly the director of golf going to do any more for you than going down there and grabbing somebody from the course who's been a caddy for 35 years and could walk the place with his eyes closed? Mm-hmm. Something like that, just getting local knowledge. If anything, to me, it's a brilliant move by Tiger. It shows that Tiger knows that this game is more than just working on your swing. You know what I mean? It's getting and knowing the course, and the course. We've known it even as amateur golfers. We play the courses we know better.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. So if Tiger was smart enough and he thought of it first to go to Southern Hills, play a practice round, and ask the director of golf to come walk with him and he could pick his brain, then good for you, Tiger. And if Patrick Reed is really behind this tweet, and again, I'm not a Reed hater. I know a lot of people are Reed haters, but to me, if Reed is behind this and he didn't do the same, if he didn't pick up the phone, because I don't think that, as you said, Zach, any course is turning down a PGA Tour pro who wants to come down and play the course, especially, a month in advance or whatever. If Patrick Reed picks up the phone, Southern Hills, I'd like to come play a practice round. By the way, is Gary available? Is Carrie available? I want to have him bring him out.
They'll roll out the same red carpet.
Yeah, I think they will.
You won't get the helicopters there.
You won't get the helicopters, but hey,
they'll roll it out for you.
The news media that he gets is deserved, Tiger.
Right.
What do you? I mean, I know I'm kind of passionate about it, but what's your thoughts?
I agree because I keep coming back to that same thing. Any of these guys can go get that treatment.
Yeah,
and why not? I mean, we see a lot of guys go to Augusta right before the Masters. They take a lap or two.
Yeah,
in the weeks leading up to it. So
look at how many guys were smart enough to try to pick Tiger's brain.
Right,
asked to play with him in practice. Now Tiger has a little more of a motivation to withhold some information. He's still playing competitively,
of course.
Right, but. I don't know.
I know, obviously we're not playing in the PGA, but I know we could reach out to some club pros and be like, can you just walk us through? And they would be happy to help us. So I can only imagine how happy they would be.
Xander Schauffele picks up the phone, of course.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if anything, it's a bad look.
Joey definitely got a lot of notes during those. I'm sure they take the caddies gets a lot of notes.
I think if it's a bad look for anyone, it's a bad look for whoever is behind this Twitter
Do you think
account.
Tiger's writing his own notes there?
Tiger
or do you think he's just leaving it to Joey to write, know that I need to know this?
I think Joey helps him out, but I think Tiger also, there's a lot in that mind that we can't even imagine accessing. Anyway, a couple more things before we wrap up the show today, because actually we're heading right out from here to play. We're going to have a fun match this afternoon against our friends from ShotScope.
Yeah, they're in from Scotland.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this because we haven't really been able to play with them since our trip to Scotland.
No, I believe, and I thought that, and I said, no, we did play one round with them at Reunion right before COVID.
Right, that's true.
PGA show, when they launched their new product, we played a round with them, but it's been 2 years, 2+ years.
It's been too long.
I'm hoping they're jet lagged because we're playing a match. I'm hoping
and they're sticks. They're both sticks, good.
But we got the course knowledge, which doesn't matter.
In this case, maybe not. But we're excited to do that. And also, the other big thing, I don't want anybody to miss this. We just did our SM9, our Vokey SM9 fitting. We said it before. We talked about it here. We're going to do a big giveaway with it. Well, the giveaway is out. You got to go check out that video to see, but it's a fun one. Basically, we're going to have you guys, all the details are in that video, but we're going to have you guys mock up and design some of your own wedges, and then we're going to pick some of our favorites and put them to a vote.
Check this out. They're already rolling in, Zach.
Lots of cool
So these are
designs
you're
rolling
these
in.
wedges. You're customizing them. They're all kind of flying in already. Really cool stuff. Probably can't see it on the screen, but I am loving them so far, Frank.
There's some good ones. I've already got a couple front runner favorites. You and I are each going to pick a favorite, and then we're going to put them to a vote.
Put those two to a vote.
The winner is going to win a custom set of the new Vokey SM9 wedges. Plus, along the way, as we always do, we learned a whole lot about equipment and our own games working with Kevin Sprecher. We learned a lot about bounce and how that really affected our game. So you're going to want to check out that video. It's on the Golficity main channel. A lot of fun putting that one together.
By the way, hold on real sec. The winner, when we were building our wedges, they start at 150, a Vokey wedge, around 150, 160, 170. After you customize it, get up to about 250.
Easy. And each customization adds a little bit more.
It adds a little bit more. So you could be walking away with like a $750 set of wedges as a winner.
You definitely
It's one of my favorite giveaways that we do.
You definitely could be. And plus, how cool is it when they're custom?
Yeah, it's awesome.
You get to put your little creativity. Now, you and I each customized our own. They haven't arrived just yet, and we haven't told each other.
It's the first time we didn't show each other before we hit the submit.
First time. So we're going to surprise each other with what we picked.
Yeah.
But it's always fun getting creative, and the performance of these wedges is something you got to see to believe.
Are you guys keeping the colors secret? Or
everything?
It's all secret right now. We have basic ideas
Frank
of what we might do.
hinted at going with the all black.
Yeah, because
I don't know if he is, but
there was something to do with mine, a special wedge in there that I wasn't sure if I could get the finish I wanted. So we're going to see. I may even be surprised.
He might even be surprised.
I may even be surprised. So that was that. And then the other thing is, like I said, Brookline coming up as we get closer and closer to the country club.
We're going to do
US
an
Open
on-site podcast
Yep.
U.S. Open week. That's going to be a week's like full of content, U.S. Open stuff between the 2 rounds we played during media day, 2 rounds, the 2 videos we shot.
Yep.
The podcast we're going to do on site. We're going back up there, obviously. So
what a place!
What a place!
What a place! So much history there. Such a unique golf course. I'm excited for this one. Those greens were small, man.
They were small, but we hung in. We had our share. We had our snowman on the card. We had our 7s. But we had our 4s.
Hey, stringing together a couple of pars out there, it's a huge confidence booster.
The rough was brutal.
Nice chip in from the rough, Mike.
Yes.
It was awesome.
You know,
it felt good.
Got to give yourself some credit.
Yeah. So we'll have those videos
almost
out.
Hole in one. Almost hole in one. Almost.
I still can't believe it. You were walking away, and I'm like, that ball's, because those greens were lightning.
Yeah.
Right? And they were very undulated.
I put it like 5 feet past
and I'm like, Mike, it's still rolling. Like, turn around. And it rolled. It gave that cup a look.
Yeah. You're going to love these vids. You're going to love them.
Also, there was instances of a ball being on the green and putting it off the green.
Yeah.
So be ready for that.
Pinehurst number 2 vibes.
Let's just say, if it's going to be a U.S. Open course, it better be challenging. And this one is.
Yeah.
This one is. And we know that firsthand.
Challenging for me to even walk.
And the last thing I want to leave you guys with before we let you go. Speaking of giveaways, it's a big month. We got 2 huge giveaways going right now. The other giveaway we're doing, we just announced this on the main channel as well. Again, you guys know why we do giveaways. We feel very fortunate in that what we get to do with Golficity and the content we get to create, you guys are the reason we get to do that. So whenever we get a chance to give back, we give back. So we relaunched the Golficity Clubhouse. We now have a free option. You know, we wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted to be in there, whether, you know, you could afford the $5 a month or not, you can get in there. We still have the supporter. We're going to do something special for our supporters. You can pay the $5 because every dime that you guys pay goes back into the content creation. Doesn't go in our pockets, goes back in that content creation. Try to level up the content that we make. But anyone who's in there, who joins the Clubhouse for the month of May, at the end of the month of May, we're going to take everybody who's in the Clubhouse. We're going to do a random drawing and give away a Titleist TSI driver to somebody in the Clubhouse.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So excited for this one.
And it's growing. We shot up to 63 members like real fast.
And the cool thing about the Clubhouse is the bigger it gets, the more fun it is.
Yep.
Because we're in there, everybody's talking. You know, a lot of people are finding that other people live close to them. They're linking up, going out and playing around, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So go to golficity.com/clubhouse. All the details are there so you can get joined. Got to be in there in the month of May. Obviously, we're going to continue to grow this thing, and we're going to do some surprise giveaways and things like that in the Clubhouse. But beyond the giveaways, there's plenty of other good reasons to be in there. You'll see when you join. It is a tremendous, tremendous group of people that we feel fortunate to call friends. And you guys are going to enjoy this. So go to golficity.com/clubhouse to join. That's everything we have for you this week. We'll see everybody again next week.